Hello, I would like anybody in the class to raise their hand if they've ever been stressed. Everybody in the class raised their virtual hand. Being at the transitional stages in our lives right now, going from adolescence to adulthood, I felt that it was relevant to talk about stress and the effects of stress and exactly what is stress and ways to cope with stress, because I believe this can make us a more productive believe this can make us productive members of society as a generation, instead of the sleep deprived and procrastination filled student. At least I know I am. So the definition of stress, according to the medical dictionary, which is used by many hospitals and universities across the country and world, states that stress is an organism's total response to environmental demands or pressures, and further elaborated on how stress and has a relationship with perception. And that quote, or in these, the medical dictionary stated that stress in humans results from interactions between persons and their environment that are perceived as straining or exceeding their adaptive capabilities and threatening well-being. The element of perception indicates the human stress response reflects differences in personalities as well as differences in physical strength or general health. What we can gain from this quote is that stress is internal but is influenced by external factors that are overstimulating by the body, causing that can cause body and mind fatigue and cause us to not function at our greatest capability or capacity and capability. And what we really need to learn, or what we really need to gain, or what we really need to learn is that everybody feels stressed differently, and at some point everybody deals with stress, which is why we need to know how stress affects us after the initial stress response. To further elaborate, learning the effects of stress is frankly very stressful because of the many ways it can impact perception, our perception of the world, our actions, our feelings towards ourselves, and our feelings towards our environmental factors as well. And according to the Mayo Clinic, which is a nonprofit worldwide leader in medical research, divided the effects of stress into three categories. The three categories are the effects on your body, the effects on your mood, and the effects on your behavior. The effects on your body include headache, muscle pain and tension, chest pain, fatigue, changes in sex drive, stomach pain, sleeping problems. And under the effects of stress on your mood includes anxiety, restfulness, lack of motivation or focus, an overwhelming feeling, irritability or anger, sadness or depression. And under the effects of stress on behavior includes overeating or undereating, angry outbursts, drugs or alcohol misuse or substance problems, social withdrawal, and participating in less exercise. Now, what we need to understand, these are simply the possible side effects of stress that can occur to an individual. And what we need to understand is this is a general outline, and everybody reacts to stress differently and handles stress in many different ways. And what we need to understand from this chart is that symptoms can be short or long lasting, depending on multiple factors, which can include the duration of the amount of stress, the exposure to the amount of stress, environmental factors, personal factors such as personality, physical health and general health, as I explained before. And stress, it is all dependent, and the effects of stress are all dependent on those on those factors as well. You can have one or more symptoms of this chart or a multitude of symptoms. It just is very individualized on how the person can be affected by stress. Now, I don't want you guys to be alarmed by any means, because there are also methods of dealing with stress or coping with stress. For instance, methods to deal with stress are diverse and very individualized, and can include therapeutic methods, holistic methods, as well as hobbies, activities, anything that distracts you from your stressor and brings you enjoyment. And something that I found that relates all of these methods of dealing with stress together is that they all include enjoyment, distraction, self-care, and like the act of stopping your life to kind of like participate in activity and like come back and like be less stressed. So in conclusion, stress is an organism's total response to environmental demands or pressures, and that they can't be 100% avoided. Stress cannot be. Everybody feels stress at some point. It's just with being knowledgeable about stress, we can begin to understand healthy stress management skills and how that can positively influence our mind and bodies as individuals.